Hello and welcome everybody to our channel. So yeah, I actually thought we were live and played the theme song and then realized, oh, look at that. We're not. So here we are. We're live now. Well, it's been a while. So I need the practice again, apparently.
We're a little rusty. So
yeah. I was like, holy my gosh. How are you guys doing? Hello. So I'm with my co-host, Trevor Palmer, Lynda Querno. Hello. How you guys doing?
Doing great. So happy to be here. And yeah, it's been way too long. So I've been going through withdrawals from not being able to do the show. So I'm glad we're here.
I feel the same way. Honestly, I feel the same way. I missed you both, and I miss Pete. Pete isn't here tonight, but we say hi, Pete. Honestly, it's been too long, guys. I'm so rusty.
I miss my little Peter.
I missed you.
Well, I missed you guys too. It has been. I like what Cody says. It's way too freaking long. Yes, it has been. It has been way too long. Well, we're back now, so this is good, and hopefully we'll be able to maintain every Sunday around the same time, 5:00 Mountain Time. I believe it's 7 Eastern, which is awesome. And honestly, it's been so good to see you guys. What have you been up to? What's new? How was your holidays, all that stuff?
Man, well, for me, it's just been a lot of family stuff going on. My boys, I got 2 boys that are in wrestling right now, and of course they're on one's in club wrestling, one's in high school wrestling. So on any given day, we'll have 2 different wrestling matches in 2 different locations, and so I've been full tilt on that. My paranormal team, Western Idaho Paranormal, we've been staying busy. We just wrapped up a residential investigation, just got through the evidence on that. We're just kind of scrutinizing our clips and hopefully going to be able to do a reveal for that client here this next week. And yeah, so other than that, it's just kind of same old, and yeah, life is good.
Same old, and sometimes new stuff, right? It's new stuff, just same pattern, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Lynda?
Oh boy. Well, the holidays for us was ridiculous because we were all sick over the holidays. So, but at least, it was a shared sickness. So we were all miserable at the same time.
So were you all like moaning as to who was sicker? Like, I'm so sick, or
yeah, pretty much.
Like doing that competition?
Yeah, pretty much. I do blame my eldest daughter because she was working seasonally at the mall and decided to bring home something. It was just, not so great. But aside from that, the team is doing well. We had our first meeting of the season this past week, so it was awesome. And everybody's really gearing up to really get right into it again. So that's a good thing. But how about you, Kathy?
Not much is new, to be honest. Work has been good, as you guys know, I do have, my own business doing, I do readings, both medium and tarot readings. So anybody wanting a reading, contact me at oracle-intuitions.com. But yeah, I've been doing that. I don't know if I mentioned it last time. My son did get into college for next year. So I'm so excited about that. It was funny. He actually got into university. So he applied for the university here in Alberta. But what happened is, because it's such a huge program, it's like there's so many people that apply for it. He actually got so where he got admitted to, it is the University of Alberta, but it was the Camrose location. So it was a little town outside of Edmonton. So he would have to actually move to Camrose to go to this, so that's, Trish says I keep fading in and out. Let me know if this is better, Trish. Sorry. So we decided, I don't really want him moving yet. I mean, I know he's an adult, and I know this is so common in the States. And that's the thing is, I was watching all of my friends' kids move, like they'll be like move across country, when they're in the States, like they'll, go to university or Jesus across the ocean, maybe, But for us, we've got such a great university here. Chelsea she says she lives in Camrose. That's awesome. I had no problem with the town. Like I didn't mind him moving to, it was just I didn't want him moving yet. Like,
It's hard to let go. It's hard to
want to let go. And also too, it's expensive, right? So it is expensive. He would have to not only pay for the university, but now for the housing and, food and all of that stuff. Whereas here he could just have it, eat at home, whatever. So, anyway, he applied to Grant MacEwan and he got in at Grant MacEwan. So this is good. So it's basically, he'll be taking Bachelor of Science and computer science and all of that stuff. So then he can always transfer to the university if he wants to later on or whatever. But I was just so darn proud of him, so this is good.
Well, I mean, it could happen. What happened to me is like my daughter moved out and she went to school across the state. And then she moved back home and brought a husband with her. So, instead of losing them, you start gaining more. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The family members somehow multiplied.
It's like, oh.
Right.
I don't remember.
Which I would be okay with. I would be okay with that, as long as they can support themselves. I've been supporting, children, mine and others for a long time because my kids would bring home strays all the time that I somehow ended up taking care of or fostering in some way or another. So I'm good now. I'm good. I'm like, you're 18. It's time for me now. So there we go. But let's, we might just call it a pet peeve of mine is to like have people that don't take care of themselves. So as we grandfather that into the next topic, what we're going to be talking about is, Cody says, anyone want two more? No, thank you. We're good. We're going to talk about paranormal pet peeves today. So this is kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so I was actually going to ask you last night, Lynda, and then I thought, no, I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to ask you live on the show where you can really, turn red or embarrass yourself or, come up with a really good reasoning and explanation for it or whatever. It's up to you. What made you what brought this to your mind because it was actually Lynda's idea and I love the idea. So.
Okay, so a bunch of us were talking about things that bother us about the field, either on investigations ourselves or watching, those wonderful shows on TV, all these paranormal pet peeves. Like, what do they do that really annoys us? Or what do some people do that annoy us or have annoyed us on teams that we've worked with or teams that we've actually participated doing an investigation on? What is it that really, yeah, exactly. And Cody's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's really how I decided I'd bring this up because I'm sure that all three of us have our paranormal pet peeves. I'm sure we do.
I would say anybody that's gone on an investigation. So it's funny. Anybody that's ever been on an investigation, you already have a pet peeve. I guarantee it. And I discovered that actually this evening because I was talking to my son about, I said, yeah, we're doing a show tonight. And he goes, oh, what's it about? And I said, paranormal pet peeves. He's like, whispering. And I was like, that's right. Whispering is a good one. He goes, and when people tag every single little noise that there is, and it's just tag, 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 tag all night long. And so it's like, you've been on one investigation, dude.
But so, he's got a valid point though.
He does. He has that, and that was a couple of things. That's why I say, if you've been on one investigation, I guarantee you've already developed some pet peeves. Whispering is a big one.
Like, at least talk loud enough for us to hear you if you're gossiping, especially, or something,
and that's just it. It's like, and so, and people, I think they get it from a lot of the shows, because when they're investigating, they whisper a lot. And what people don't understand is, like, when you're going back through that evidence later on, and you're trying to determine whether you're hearing, a potential EVP, but your team's been whispering all night. Well, a lot of EVPs come out as whispers. They do. And so you have to throw out a lot of evidence, because you're like, oh, it could have been so-and-so, or it could have been so-and-so. So, yeah. So I could definitely relate with that.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, absolutely.
So true. Well, what about you, Lynda? Well, I was going to ask you, like, what's one of your biggest pet peeves, Cathy?
I think probably one of my biggest pet peeves was, because, it's been a while since I actually, have investigated, right? But I would think the thing that used to really drive me up the wall was when we didn't mind the client staying while we did the investigation. If the client wanted to be in the house, like, we get it. Like, you're leaving our house to strangers, essentially, like, you don't know us, right? So I understand that you wanted to be in the home. But one of the biggest things was them being scared. Like, if you're going to start screaming every 5 seconds because the furnace turned on, or your cat jumped on something, or whatever, just go. Because you're wasting our time. You're wasting our time. You're wasting the time of everybody here on the team. You've wasted our setup. You know what I mean? And there's so many times where the client would sit there and be like, oh, I'm scared. Well, then why are you here? Go have coffee. Go, spend the night at a hotel. Go enjoy yourself. Go to a movie. Go do something else. Like, you're placing your trust in us, so let us do our job. And when you're going to run around like, a scared little mouse, well, we don't need you here, because it's not, like, our time is valuable. And every human's time is valuable, right? And so when somebody's wasting it, that would be one of my biggest pet peeves. It's not the biggest, but it was one of them for sure.
Yeah, no, I like that, because it's true. You're right. And you're right, because they're really entrusting us with their house or their place of business or whatever it happens to be. So I get that they would be a little trepidatious leaving it to us. But at the same time, like, either be quiet, because they're one of the whisperers, Trevor.
Right. Yeah. Like, sit and observe. Or if they really wanted, put up your own camera. Like, to buy a camera off of Amazon is like, what, $30? Buy one of those cameras that you can watch people on your phone. And if you really, if you're really, mistrusting, well, then have that going on, but to sit there and scream and make all kinds of gobbledygook,
But and I think that's something that gets ingrained into everybody. That paranormal equals scary. Ghosts are scary. It's super scary. The TV shows make it out with a real eerie music. That it's all scary. It's not. It's really not scary at all. Usually, it's really boring. But it's not scary. If something does happen in that moment, a door opens or something moves, it might surprise you, but I guarantee you it's not scary. It's more intriguing, and you just want it to happen again, and what I've done with I've had pretty good luck with clients and stuff, but I explain very much why the house needs to be empty. like, because the way that we investigate, and I explain why we're going to do this, and that, if you want to be present, that's fine. That's your house. It's your investigation. However, the best chance of us helping you is just giving us the house, letting us do our business, and then we can, we'll leave, or and most people have been pretty receptive to that. I have had people that have asked to be present. That's fine, and they can ask questions and stuff. And I just make them follow the same rules that my team does. I say, hey, when you talk, just talk, don't whisper. Stuff like that. But yeah, it gets tough. If you and I usually see it when we do public investigations. People come in and they have this expectation, and yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, they're really scared. But yeah, what do you do?
Agreed. Kathy, why don't you read what Cody wrote?
Yeah, I'm just saying hello to everybody. Hi, Virgil, and hi, John. Welcome. Hi, Chelsea. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
And Manchester, England. Hello.
What's that?
There was somebody from Manchester, England that's popped in too.
Oh yeah, that's Virgil. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Cody says, people assuming investigations are us basically delving into things considered ungodly or going against that which one may consider as being biblical in nature, not to get religious, he says. And I fully agree with that. People that are sitting there going, oh, well, this is devil's work.
Once again, that's being perpetuated by a lot of the stuff that they see on TV, right? I mean, even in movies, it's like, any type of haunted movie, it's a demon, and everything's a demon. It's all demonic. It's all evil. And well, if you don't mess with it, or if you don't ask it to be there, it won't be there. And that's what people think we're doing, somehow inviting these things in. And that's that, and it drives me insane because I talk to people that are actually having legitimate concerns in their homes of activity, and I'll ask them. I said, "Well, do you go to church? Do you have a church that you go to?" Yeah, I go to this church. I said, "Well, have you talked to your minister? Have you talked to your priest?" They say that they can't. They're not gonna. They don't believe me, and it's all. And it's really interesting that you have these, and I go to church. I'm Christian, and but the amount of pushback you seem to get from even people who go to church on this stuff is really interesting. When the whole concept of Christianity is about a man who died and rose from the dead and performed miracles and did all this stuff. It's all about spirituality, and that's what we are. We are spirits in meat sacks. And when the meat sack is done, the spirit goes somewhere else, and so, yeah, that people, the clergy that won't help their own congregations through problems like that is a major pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Huge pet peeve of mine too.
Speaking on the spirituality part, though, one thing really popped up in my mind that I was thinking about is one of the, my pet peeve being, somebody who does readings, who works with energy, all of that, is where people get so confused. So they'll hear that somebody's got a psychic on the team. Oh, well, can you tell me what my dead grandma said? Well, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, people that get mediums confused with psychics, with energy readers, with people who work with spirituality, people who work with energy. Like, there's so many different genres, I guess, of my work. And even to some degree, paranormal investigators. It's like, I've had people where you just introduce yourself as an investigator that are like, oh, well, I guess you can, that automatic assumption where you can see spirits and that you're doing this and that, and they'll come, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I can, but that doesn't mean my team member is. Or it doesn't mean that, somebody else who's doing this is, the same. There's so many different genres of it. What's that noise in the background? Is that me?
I think so.
I don't know.
Hard to
it sounded like a dog.
You're cursed, Kathy. That's what it is.
Oh,
It's a
weird.
curse.
I was just reading Virgil's comment, and I heard the dog, and it made me laugh. So, the chihuahua that choked on the knickers.
Oh, my beloved pet Chihuahua Fluffy choked while eating my mistress's knickers. He's still with me. The paramedics resuscitated him, but we had to put him down. Well, I have no thoughts on that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody says it's my microphone. Okay, so I'll hopefully this is better. But yeah, I mean, that's one of my pet peeves, is where people would get very confused with the different genres of psychics or mediums, or again, spiritual readers or energy readers, or whatever it is. And a lot of groups do use psychics. Are you still getting feedback, Cody?
I'm not. I think it's sounding fine now.
Sounds good.
Okay. I mean, a lot of teams do use psychics on their investigations, and it's just a matter of not every psychic sees dead people, I guess, is the best way to
Yeah.
say it.
And you know what, Kathy? Not all psychics are created equal too, because it depends on the psychic that you use when you're on an investigation. We've worked with quite a few ever since I first started, actually. And it's interesting because some of them are really dedicated to helping the team. So they will be fantastic on an investigation. They're not always going to see or feel or hear or be connected to what's going on. But if they are, they'll share that information. But if you are a psychic who's working with a team, or you're a psychic who's participating in, let's say, a public investigation, some psychics will sort of pull people aside. So while you're doing your investigation, they'll be on the side reading people. And that's one of my major pet peeves as well, is that, you've got to work with the right psychic. If the psychic is into the investigation and really wants to help the team, that's one thing. But my pet peeve is if you're not in it for that, and you're going to pull people aside and read for them on the side, that's not helping the team. So that's a pet peeve. And I've heard it from all kinds of teams out there that this is what happens often. So, and that's, I think, one of the dangers of using, perhaps the wrong psychic for an investigation.
Well, I remember, on our team, we had two of us. And so usually one of us kind of sat out or didn't sit in as a psychic. It was more or less an investigator. So you kind of choose, what are you going to do? I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not receiving, what you're receiving. It's just that you are not there to, you're working more in the capacity of an investigator than anything else. And any insights that you do get, or psychic impressions that you do pick up, you can write down, and then you can compare it with the team later. It's not your time, I guess, was the way to say it. But a lot of times what happened is, once the clients found out that there was a psychic on the investigation, it turned into the psychic show rather than it being an investigation. And I think that is so completely wrong, because it's not there to, build up or show off or anything else. It's not about the psychic. This is about what's going on and how the best way to help the client is. And, if you've got, it doesn't matter how many people are on the team, whether it's 2 of you that showed up or whether it's 10 of you, you're taking it away from, you're taking, basically, when you have the psychic show going on, you're wasting the time of everybody else. Like, why are these other people even there? And again, it's just, time is valuable, right? Whether it's the investigators, it's the clients, however. But after a while, what we did is we just stopped letting people know that we even had a psychic on the team. We just kept it as investigator, and that was the end of that. So
yeah, the psychic is supposed to enhance the investigation. Yeah, that's so nice.
Cody,
right?
So sweet. That is so sweet. You are such a sweetheart. Thank you, Cody. I really truly appreciate that. Thank
It's like every other legitimate psychic right now is sending Cody bad vibes. So,
but I do appreciate it. I'm sending him very good vibes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, what else is like, what else? Like, what really used to make you go, I don't even know if I want to do this or if I just want to go? You ever been in that position? Like, you ever been in that position where you're like, okay, I think I'm just going to go home now? Not that you would, not that you are, because, we're professionals. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't just pick up and go unless it was a matter of danger or, our safety or something. But, what kind of had that in the back of your head where you're going, oh my God, this is like my,
yeah, you know what?
the peeve is peeving at this time.
Yeah, I one of my big ones is having people that rely too heavily on the equipment. And that's something that, as a paranormal investigator, I don't think you should do. I don't think you should rely heavily on the equipment because you both know that they can toy with those pieces of equipment. They're not 100% infallible. And you do have to rely on yourself as your biggest and best instrument and your biggest and best piece of equipment. So, it's the ones that are constantly looking at their cameras or constantly looking at their little buzzers and whir balls and things. And they're totally missing all of the things that are actually happening on the investigation. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. Huge.
Yeah. Anything that's got a lot of flashing lights and a lot puts out a lot of noise, it's a distraction for sure. They are good in some instances, like for detecting potential activity, but you can't hyper focus on the one thing. I agree 100%. One of my least favorite instruments out there is the REM pod. The REM pod, it drives me insane because it's flashy, it's pretty, it puts out a horrible noise, and the thing just goes off, and it doesn't tell us why it's going off, and so everybody gets super focused in on the REM pod, and they miss the apparition that just walked behind them down the hallway, right? So I have this, and it was funny. We did an investigation a while back, and they had a bunch of motion sensor lights out. Totally fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. But some of these lights started going off, and everybody was just like, on those lights. And myself, though, I stayed behind everybody, and I turned around and looked the other direction. Because of that, I wanted to see what was going on. Because I agree. I think some of these entities, they can definitely manipulate them, and that's fine. And sometimes I think it is a distraction. They're like, hey, look over here. Don't, kind of like our government. Hey, watch over here. Don't look behind you. So, But it's, for sure. I like my investigations quiet. I agree with you, Lynda. I love relying on my own ears and my own eyes, for sure. So, and then just a nice, quiet voice recorder, maybe some static cameras, we're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to have tools because if you're working on a case and you have a client that wants validation, they don't necessarily want just the validation that, yes, I'm experiencing something, or I feel the energy of the room that you feel the energy of the room in. They want that validation. So they want maybe a video of some piece of equipment validating how they feel or what's going on. I get that. But as an investigator, for sure, it's your senses, your common sense, all of that stuff comes into play. And it really ticks me off when I see all these teams with like the arsenal, like 14,000 feet of coaxial cable and 19 cameras in each room. Like, come on, would you?
We have that. We have a lot of cameras and we have a lot of coaxial cable. So
I was going to say, you never want to investigate with Pete then, because Pete's got like, some of these things I was like, I do not know what to do with, like, what do I do with this end and this end? Like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, it takes a little getting used to, but I do like static cameras. And but the way, some of these things that I've tried to alleviate some of these peeves, is I will tow my trailer to a location that we're going to investigate, and we'll run all our cables out of that trailer into the house. So we got our internet set up, and we got cameras where we want them, and we have our monitor in the trailer. If a homeowner wants to be a part of the investigation, they can come sit out in the trailer and they can monitor cameras with us. Things like that. They can whisper all they want out there, along with my tech who likes to whisper too. And, there are, that's the thing I've tried to learn how to do, is try to work around some of these things. And so like when Peter, Wren and his team came to Idaho last year for the investigation in Gooding, Peter loves the ghost box. He is really into that. They use that all the time. They swear by it. They get good hits and stuff, and I hate it. I cannot stand the ghost box because it is so loud. But he adapted his to make it so. And in all fairness, his wasn't nearly as bad as some of the ones that I've heard. And so his was a lot different, and he did a really good job on that. So it was definitely tolerable, but it distracts so much from what's going on around you. I mean, you can't hear anything. You can't hear I hate that. I like being able to hear the footsteps. I like being able to hear the knocks and the creaks and, the disembodied voices and things like that. I want to hear those myself. So
I get really bothered by white noise. And so hearing that, it actually like I don't know, it triggers me. It triggers my head. And it actually really puts me into a bad mood. Like not, but it does.
It's supposed to be relaxing, Kathy.
It's not, yeah, but it literally puts me into like some sort of like where I'm like, it does not do my body good at all.
Well, especially when it's going.
Yeah, I just find so fucking annoying.
It is annoying. Reviewing like hours and hours and hours of PSB7 spirit box recordings. It's like after a while you hear it in your sleep, It's bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah, I just I can't tolerate it. It's one of those things, like I know some people like to fall asleep with white noise.
Yes.
I am not one of them.
No.
Virgil says more like a zzz sound. Yeah, like that's all I want to hear when I'm sleeping. I don't want to hear anything.
No.
Actually, that's not true. I play meditation tapes while I'm sleeping. One of the biggest pet peeves I think pretty much all investigators though can to some degree agree on is that everything apparently is a demon.
Yeah.
That is probably our biggest, like, I think that we all, for the most part, have an issue with that, where whether it's clients or whether it's some random person on the internet or whatever, it's that it's got to be a demon, mentality. And that is probably, I think, one of the biggest pet peeves that pretty much everybody shares.
Demons are super rare. Thank goodness.
Right?
True demonic hauntings, are very rare. There are aggressive spirits, right? Yeah. But they're still spirits. They're not demons. They're two different things. So
I always say to people, I don't mean to interrupt, but one of the things I say to clients is, when you think about it, like a demon's goal, I guess, is to, become like a humanoid of some sort, right? Like they want to have that human body. They want to have that possession. Why are they going to choose, a deadbeat Charlie who lives down the block with garbage bags hanging up on his windows for curtains and, hasn't properly showered in, 10 frickin' years. Like, let's be realistic. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, if I was a demon, I know who I'm going after. And it sure as shit ain't like, somebody with no money and all, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and rot? Like, you know, if you're
Kathy's going after her Hollywood crush. That's who she's going
well,
to possess.
hell yeah. No, I'm going after his wife. But I mean, like, you know, like in all reality, like why would, you know, something with that much power, let's just say if it's got that much power, why is it going to go after, you know, some deadbeat person? Like that, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, right? So
That's funny. That's funny.
no, I don't like Sam Elliott. Cody asks, who is that Sam Elliott? No, it's not Sam Elliott.
You're right, though. You're right, though. It's true. Why is everything a demon?
Right?
And it's true because
Yeah.
those, and it's Cody nailed it. I mean, honestly, those uneducated people out there, misinformed people, they really believe that if they get scratched or pushed, or something happens to them, that it's got to be a demon because that's what they say on such and such a show, or and it's not true. I mean, that's the way that they communicate when they've tried so many things to communicate with you, so many times to communicate with you, and you're not getting it. What are they going to do? They're going to scratch you or they're going to push you. Doesn't mean they're evil and they're demonic, but they could be malevolent. I mean, what you are in death is what you were in life. So if you're a real pain in the tuchus, you're probably going to be so when you're dead and you don't want to leave. But yeah, and that you're right, Kathy, like everything's a demon. I don't know, it's not all a demon. No,
It's so much more dramatic that way, though. That's why they do it. You know, it's because it sounds cool. You know, it's all the TV shows. It's a demon. I mean, they're not all of them. Okay. You know, there were a few that really never even considered the fact that there might be a demon in there, because there wasn't. But, you know, one show that everybody knows, you know, in every place they go, it's a demon. It's got to be a demon. But it sells, you know, so that's why most of the movies that you see has got to do with some sort of demon. It can't just be Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's got to be a demon.
Why can't it just be like Aunt Liza or, you know, Grandma Lou or who knows, like Grandma Mary Lou or something.
It
like,
doesn't
you know,
sell.
It doesn't sell. Exactly. It doesn't sell. And also remember that another pet peeve is people out there who charge for investigations, which is a huge pet peeve of mine, and I'm sure both of you as well. And you know what? If it's a demon, you're going to get more money for that. Come on, Trevor.
Yeah, what you have here is a class 4 full floating phantom demon monster, and it for $5,000 we can get rid of that for you. Yeah. So, but you know, don't ever pay for anybody to come in and do a paranormal investigation in your home. You know, if they do a good job and you want to support the team, I'm sure they'd take a donation here and there. But anybody that's demanding payment, no.
Or if they have to go a long distance, covering their gas, is great. You know, is something that, you know, you could do, or, you know, offer a hotel room or whatever, you know, that sort of thing, especially if they're, you know, if it is something that is going to, you know, take them out of their own area, you know, or where it could be dangerous driving at, you know, at the end of the day, like if they're going to be up for 24 or 36 hours, having a hotel room would be great.
That's huge. And that's kind of what I had to work out with some of my clients too. It's like, you know, if they want us to travel, and we're willing to do that. It's like, you know, but I can't, you know, we're self-funded as it is, you know, and I don't even ask for gas money. I said, but all I ask is you get us a place to stay, you know, because I can't ask my team to cover, you know, the expenses, the hotel costs. We'll pay for our food, and, you know, I don't have a problem driving to most places. And, you know, we had a client and they lived, you know, about 3.5 hours from us. And I explained to him, you know, it's like, well, we can come out there, but we have to go home the same night. And so we're only going to investigate for like an hour. You know, but they decided that they'd just give us the house for 48 hours. And they went and stayed in the hotel, you know.
That's
and then,
nice.
You know, so it was phenomenal, you know, and we investigated the heck out of that place. And we got some really good evidence out of that because of the way we investigated it. We were just able to just be there. We just saturated the voice recorders and the cameras, and it was phenomenal. So,
Wow.
yeah. All right. So another pet peeve of mine is when we're doing EVP sessions and you have a person that's going down a line of questions.
I'm here. Don't
Are
worry.
you still there? You okay?
No, I'm logged in. I realized that my battery was running low, so I'm I was just looking for the plug. That's all.
Thank God. she's
Anyway,
online.
so if somebody's going down a line of questions and then somebody chimes in with a question that has nothing to do with that line of questioning that they were going, I don't know why it drives me insane. I mean, you're getting somebody that's like, tell me about, did you have children? What were their names? How old were they? Da, da, da. What's your favorite color?
Oh, I know.
Where did that come from? Can you have a normal conversation with people here? Because that's what it is. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. That drives me.
Was there a purpose in that? Some people I think just want attention. Hey,
I agree with that. That's funny because it's so true. But you know what, Trevor and Kathy, you'll get this huge pet peeve, which I wrote down, and only I can understand what I wrote down because I said, seriously, my note to myself is Ouija board 1 million times. In other words, the client who does things, right? Who plays with a Ouija board or summons the devil with friends or does all of these wonderful things. And then, of course, activity happens and you go in with your team and you spend a lot of time and energy. You clear whatever's there. You help them with their issue. And guess who's back 2 months later going, well, we had another party and we brought in another Ouija board and, we did some things that we probably shouldn't have done. And oh, God, that is a huge pet peeve of mine.
That's when you start charging right there. That's when you start charging.
Right? Yeah.
You did this for yourself. This time it's going to cost you.
It's an invoice now.
we had we actually had to deal with that a couple of times too, and I remember saying to them, look at what did she do? She said my neighbor has a Bible and she'll come over here and cleanse or whatever. I said, you know what, just don't do that. Just follow what we're giving you for right now, because a lot of people don't know what they're dealing with, and sometimes things can, if it's not done by an actual priest or whatever, maybe just let's not encourage this, let's not do this. Well, a few days later she phones me up at 3:00 in the fucking morning and there's red eyes staring at me, which is probably her cat, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, because the neighbor came over with her Bible and started thumping around on stuff and doing whatever she was doing, and it was turned it into basically I don't know if anything, to be honest, when we went back there, we didn't capture a whole lot. You know what I mean? When I say the glowing eyes were probably her cat, I actually mean that. It was probably her cat, but it seemed like it more psychologically did something rather than actually physically did something, I guess, because a lot of her claims were more nonsensical than anything else.
Yeah. I get that.
So yeah, and we get the other ones too. I mean, and it's not just the the Ouija board, but the occult stuff in general. There is a lot of it is it just brings a negative energy. Period. Depending on what it is and the books and the certain types of pentagrams and we had people that had pickled baby pigs and just stuff that. It just draws a negative connotation, and they were complaining about this negative energy in the house. But when you bring it up to them, they get super upset. Well, it's not that. It's never done that before. I said, oh, yeah, look, well, you're just asking. So, I mean, I'm telling you, and that actually leads me to another pet peeve.
Go for it.
People who put up pictures, they want us to look at their cool ghost pictures.
Oh my God.
And then we tell them, sorry, that's just dust. It's it's not a ghost.
It's not an orb.
And they get so
Yeah.
angry with us. They get so mad. And it's like, why did you even ask? You know, if you didn't want to, you know, us to tell you, you know. And so I always warn people, hey, they'll say, hey, can you can I post a picture on your Facebook page? Sure, but you may not like what you hear about it. So I'm going to warn you now. So if you come to us with a claim of evidence, and it's no different than what, honestly, we scrutinize the stuff that we put out too. I mean, when we listen to our voice recorders and we think we have a hit, an EVP or something like that, I put it out for the rest of the team to listen to, and we all kind of go through it, and we go through it and go through it, and we want to make sure it wasn't one of us, it wasn't a client, it wasn't somebody walking outside. You know, we have to try to cover all our bases before we present it as something potentially paranormal. You know, and I get it. People get really excited. They really want to catch that, you know, that ghost, you know, and I do too. Good. If you're going to put something out there, just take the criticism. You know, it's not personal. We're just helping.
But they fight with you. They'll fight with you right down to like the tooth and nail of crap, and you're like,
man, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. Or the ones that will be having a cigarette, and you know that it's smoke, and they sit there and they're trying to convince you that, I don't know, it was some demon fog or some crap like that, and you're like, but I can see the freaking cigarette. I can see the butt of the cigarette, or I can see the flame, or the whatever of the like. Who are you trying to fool here? Like, come on.
we had one picture that got sent to us, and it was clearly doctored. Like, I could look at the picture and tell you that it was doctored. And I mean, because there was like, you had this, you know, nice colored picture and stuff like that, and then around certain people you had like very angulated blue pixelations and stuff. I mean, it wasn't even done well, and they still like they lost their minds, and we're like, yeah, sorry, that's a fake picture. It's not fake, I swear, I took this picture. It's like, I'm sure you took this picture, and then you doctored the picture. It's still not real. So yeah, it's just
Oh my God.
But people are like, it's quite funny. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the bottom line is that, you know, we love what we do. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. It's not a paid gig. Right. And so, you know, we're coming into this with the intention of helping people, also with the intention of, you know, learning more, you know, not only for ourselves, but, you know, or in order to help the community. And so when you're getting this, it's kind of like, sometimes I swear the paranormal world is like being on a subreddit. You know, it's like, I'm gonna say something's blue, and I'm gonna have all these people coming forth going, no, it's red. How dare you say it's blue? Why would you call it blue?
It's true.
It's clearly you know, aqua or whatever. Like, you know, it's
turquoise.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But you know what, guys? Another huge thing too on the same topic is I really hate it when we always have to clean up after these really crappy paranormal teams that go in with all their stuff and they stir up the pot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Way worse. And then these poor people are left hanging because nothing ever happens because they just made it so much worse. And here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are usually the ones that have charged. So now the people or the clients are already in a state, because as far as they're concerned, you know, it should have been taken care of because they paid a few $100s or whatever it was. And so now they're already extra agitated on top of it. And you're just like, oh, for sake. You know, trying to explain that to them is, you know, they're just not going to listen. But then too, is that once you leave, now they're in this place of, well, everything should be just perfect. And so God forbid if their furnace knocks or their toilet breaks and runs and, or one of their light bulbs pops or something like that. Obviously, we did a crappy job because of A, B, C, and D, and E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
Yeah. And for me, that's when I get a client that I really take my time to try to educate them, especially if we're going through evidence review. If we catch something, if we don't catch something, trying to address the concern, because yeah, and especially if another paranormal team comes in and they're telling them this, that, and the other, which most likely wasn't true to begin with, that, and then we come in and say, well, we didn't catch anything. However, we did notice this, and then I will take them through and I will show them and have them, we will be able to try to reproduce what is going on. Yeah, but it's ridiculous the things that, yeah, it's sad. It's sad that there's people like that in the world that they're everywhere. I know. I mean, they just want to take advantage of somebody who's just looking for some help. It's just ridiculous.
I think to some degree that, I had a point in that and I have to remember exactly what it was, because I think it just went out of my head at the same time I was starting to say it. But, there's just so many people that are willing to believe it's like they're not willing to look at the education of people, like, without asking them, like, if I was to say, Lynda, how many years of experience do you have? Well, I've got 47 years of experience. Why are they listening to these teenagers, or why are they listening to a 20-year-old who's got his Ouija board under his arm, and he's just ready to kick up some dirt. He's ready to kick the ass of this entity. How dare it come into your house? And he just can't wait to do that. But it's funny because they're so willing to listen to that nonsense rather than listen to the educated or the experienced, even if the educated and experienced say, look at, what, we don't think that this is paranormal. Listen to this. Like, we are willing to apologize for our mistakes if something was to happen and we were to say, okay, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was paranormal. Okay, we're going to listen. We're willing to listen to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We don't have that big of egos, I don't think. But it's funny how people are so willing to listen to those that have like such little experience in this field, or the ones that haven't educated themselves, or the ones that are just so willing to, call it a demon or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all, because when you think about it, this is your home. And you would think that you would want the best for your home, no matter what it is, whether it's, your house, your apartment, whatever. Like, don't you want to live in a place that's going to feel safe to you? Why would you want to live in a place that is making you feel worse? And when you're listening to all of this nonsense of somebody who's, doesn't have the experience or the knowledge behind them, it tends to give you a worse, like if you're talking to an investigator and you're feeling worse rather than feeling safe, that's the wrong investigator for you.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the way I feel. It's like, and Cody, he says, I like this. He says, we care about helping people, not the clicks, the likes, the subs, or the ratings. 100%. That's exactly
I
it.
don't mind the clicks, the likes, the subs, and the ratings.
Well, yeah, especially here on this channel right now.
That's not the whole goal, right? Yeah, that's not. But yeah, he's right. I mean, that's not our purpose, right? I mean, the cool thing about the team that I've helped build here is we've never advertised. I mean, at the very most, we have a Facebook page and we have a website.
Right.
It's never been advertised.
Yeah,
I've never saw advertisement. Nothing. And we did a couple of people were able to find us. We did a couple of investigations, and then everything spread by word of mouth. after that. And it's been phenomenal. If you do a good job, you know, you do your clients right, and you're honest with what you do, and you're not presenting bull crap as evidence, and stuff like that. Those clicks, likes, and subs are going to come naturally.
Yeah,
You know,
organically and on their own, and without you having to make a spectacle of yourself or the client or create
exactly.
false evidence, like you
Yeah.
said, like all of that.
And some people, I mean, some people, they want their house to be haunted, and they don't like to. It's just like the people that get the picture of the ghost. They don't like to be told no, sorry. Which, you know, they think that we're telling them that what they're experiencing are invalid, which is not true, because clearly you were experiencing something you wouldn't have called the paranormal investigation team to begin with. But not everything's a ghost, you know.
No.
So some things just have a logical explanation to them, and this is what it is. So
It's true. You have to have integrity, and that's what's most important in this field. It doesn't matter if you're popular. It matters if you care about what you do and you're passionate about what you do. You listen to your clients, you work with your clients, you work with your team, you try your hardest to do what you do with honesty and integrity. That's really what's important. Everything else,
it's huge.
it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
As soon as you start, and I tell this, I've talked to some younger people that have been wanting to start their own paranormal teams, and it's what I tell everybody. I said, the second you post something that is doctored or hoaxed, you're done.
Yeah,
you are done, because nobody will ever take you seriously ever again. You can't do that. That's probably my number one pet peeve in the paranormal field, are people who are hoaxing their evidence and putting it out there as reality.
Yeah.
It kills all of us. It makes us look stupid, you know, like we can't catch the real thing. Well, guess what? We can catch the real thing. We've been catching the real thing, you know, but nobody wants to believe it because of all the hoaxes out there. So knock it off.
Yes. Stop it.
And on that note,
Lynda's going to put a hex on all of you.
she's got that eye going on.
My Carol Burnett eye.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh man.
Well, thank you guys for watching us this week. We truly appreciate it. Thanks for, you know what, like we were gone for a while, and so to have you guys back and watching us and supporting us and our channel, truly appreciate it. And we will be here next Sunday with a brand new show, brand new topic. We're looking forward to it, and thanks everybody for joining us. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.